Hello, everybody. What's going on? What's new and exciting with you? I am live, so I'm just hanging out for a second here. What's up? What's up? What's up? Welcome to the 8 p.m. emPOWERment workshop. I am so excited that you all are here. Whew, I just got done eating dinner. I worked out before dinner and now I'm all like little hotsy-totsy here. So what is going on? How is everything on your end? I hope it is well for this Wednesday. And I am so glad that you are here, you are present and in the moment. It is the 12th of January. Super exciting because we are almost 2 weeks into the new year, and I hope that you are enjoying your beginning of the year. This is 2022, and you know what? Girl, let me tell you how amazing this year is. One, because you are here, you are breathing, you are alive, and we're blessed to have each other. So I'm just gonna teach you today how to kick it up a notch because I'm all about, talking about these things. And these things are about living life to your fullest, making sure that you laugh a little bit, and living or leveling up. So I am a little frazzled and I'm gonna tell you why. So my husband is downstairs and he's causing a muck. And I was like, babe, you need to walk the dog at 8 o'clock. And he's like, I will. And he was like, still eating dinner. I'm like, babe, go for a walk so I can do my live. So I tried to shush him out of the house. So in a little bit, you're going to hear him get the dog ready and take the dog for a walk. So I'm going to be like, I told you to leave before my live. So always causing some chaos here in the household, but love them both. And seriously, it is 20 degrees outside. So have fun with that while I'm teaching y'all a lesson today. So, like I said, today is all about empowerment. And I just been having a week, and a short little story is that I got some blood work back, and my blood work showed that my insulin levels were really good, except one number. And so I took it upon myself, being the empowered, sassy, classy, badassy woman that I am, and I called a team meeting. And when I say team meeting, I'm a sports nutritionist and, people that I work with because of being an athlete. So I was like, listen, we need to fix this number. And it just made me feel really empowered to be like, hey, I'm in control of my health. I'm in control of this. What can we do to take care of my health? And it just really got me thinking about when something goes awry, we as human beings, we as empowered women are in control of our own mind, body, and soul. So this is where this all came from, this whole empowerment thing. Don't get me wrong, my whole coaching is about being empowered women and, living life unapologetic and just living our best life. I do have a medical team. Yes, I do have a medical team. I think it's super important that you have a good relationship with your family doctor. If you don't have a family doctor, totally get a family doctor. You need to have somebody who checks your labs and checks all your stuff. But this made me feel so empowered to be I am in control of myself. And I learned at a very quick age that when people were running and ruling my life, I felt out of control, and I had to take back my own power by controlling me. I can only control me. I can't control anything else around me except me. And I felt very empowered when I was like, hey, we're having a team meeting. It's on Monday. It's at this time. It's all on Zoom. You need to come. Here's the Zoom link. Boom, boss bitch right there. So I was like, I need to just tell my community hey, there's ways that we can be empowered but not bitchy about it. But there's also ways that you shouldn't be like, woe is me. But we'll talk about that in a minute. But let me explain to you what empowerment is. Empowerment is the authority that we give ourselves to do something. Like, I felt empowered to take care of my health. I feel empowered to help women take the next level in their life. I feel empowered to be a female athlete at 44 years old. I feel empowered to be a fantastic woman, a wife, a leader, a role model for my community. These are things that I feel empowered to do because it's what makes my heart beat every morning. When I wake up in the morning, like, I'm like, yeah, it's my job to show up every day. I wear my hair like this for a reason because it's my crown. I put my crown on every day. Like, she's perfect. Like, this is Mufasa, and she's on point. And I put that crown on every day to remind myself that I am the queen of my castle and this is the way I roll. And I like to show up for my clients and be like, hey girl, I'm here. Like, give you high five when you need it. Like, rah. Like, seriously, the legit biggest cheerleader that you'll find. I'm 6'3", 225 pounds. I am here to help you. But what is most important about being empowered is not to give your power away. When we start giving our power away, we lose that mental, emotional, physical, and even spiritual side of us. It's like we become lost in our own world. We lose our sense of reality and we just kind of go through the motions. So today I'm going to go over 6 ways, I call them 6 power moves that you can do to help you feel still empowered. So I have my iPad here. So if you see me glancing over, it's kind of funny because my clients already know this, that I have my iPad here and it's being held up by one of my cycling shoes. Like, legit. So classy over here. This is how I roll. Okay, so let's talk about the 6 power moves that you can do to help you feel empowered. Number 1, creating and maintaining healthy boundaries. Boundaries, girls, boundaries. Let me tell you, stop giving and like, oh, this one always gets me. The guilt trip. Like, when people give you the guilt trip, my mother, girl, don't fall for it. Like, just don't. Like, the woe is me, like, I need help. Set your boundaries. Speak up for yourself. Don't let people bully you. Like, girl, like, I don't care how tall I am, how strong I am, this, that, and the other thing. People still bully me. Like, they'll bully you no matter who you are, how old you are, how much money you have, what you do for a living. Like, people will still bully you during the day. Like, I had telemarketers the other day bully me, and I was like, listen here, homie. Hung up on him. I'm like, listen, bitch, I can run this. I'm in control of the situation as well. Like, power move is set your boundaries. You are in control of the situation. And if you don't like the situation, you can change it. Establish, I can never say the word, establish mental, physical, and emotional boundaries. Let me go over those 3 with you quickly. A mental boundary is allowing you to have your own thoughts and opinions. So when you have a mental boundary, like, I'm allowed to have an opinion about something. And when somebody says, no, that's not the way you can think about this, be like, girl, let me tell you, I'm allowed to have my own opinion. You don't have to agree with me, but I'm still allowed to have my own opinion. It's free world, last time I looked. 2, physical boundaries is the space that you need to feel safe. Like, especially during COVID, they always like, oh, 6 feet, 6 feet. Like, I have this thing, and my husband is very aware of this, and I don't like when people breathe on me. Like, this, even my dog, like, you are way too close. Like, if I can feel sweaty breath breathing on me, you are too close and in the bubble of, oh, hell no. So physical boundaries, emotional boundaries. Emotional boundaries. One of my favorite places to be is you're entitled to have your own feelings, to feel safe. Many times that we allow people to violate our emotional boundaries by saying something snarky or allowing somebody's opinion to like drill into our soul, and it bothers us. That's allowing somebody to affect one of our mental boundaries. So creating healthy boundaries is a very tough skill to do, but it's a very necessary thing to do. I think it was back in like August or September in the sisterhood, we spoke a whole month about boundaries, because legitly it takes a whole month to understand what boundaries you have a hard time dealing with, and how to handle them when situations arise. Like for me, when I'm challenged, I'm like, I'll listen to you, but it doesn't necessarily mean that I'm going to give an answer back right away, because that's my boundary. My boundary is understanding your side of the story and me processing. Like, I don't need to answer this right now. Like, I need some time. That's my emotional boundary. Like, I'm not going to get into a heated argument with anybody, because like, first of all, is this worth my time? So understanding your boundaries is a huge part of having empowerment and taking back your power. So number 2, having clarity around your why and your values. A lot of the time, this is just common sense, but sometimes common is not so common. So let me dive into this just a little bit. It's another way of achieving your clarity is understanding your why. What is your purpose? Why do you wake up every morning? What do you love to do? Many people say, I wake up every morning to go to my job. There's that thing on Instagram. It says, you need to go to work to make money. Do you want to make money? You need to go to work. You need to do that. And I'm like, you should wake up every morning doing what you love. Yes, you may have to go to a job to earn money to do what you love. That may be that side hustle that you go home to, and then you knit or crochet or sell things on Etsy. Like, I got this necklace on Etsy, and this chick is badass, like made this for me. And I was like, girl, I want a lightning bolt, because that was my thing of 2021. Like, this is very special. She like legit made this for me. I'm like, that's her side hustle. This lady was like a lawyer or something. I was like, girl, high five to you, like empowered. Like, I'm all about girl power. So that was her why. Like, she does like lawyer stuff all day long, but comes home and makes homemade jewelry. Like, understand your why, your values, and don't forget that. Don't forget that. I know people wake up every day and be like, oh my God, I have to go to work. Like, I did that for years. There's points that I would get up in the morning and I would cry because I had to go to work. Like, hated my job, hated it, because I didn't have a passion for it. I didn't like the environment I was in. It was very toxic. It made me very sick to be in. Then I knew that wasn't my why, that wasn't my purpose. That's when I started in here to be like, okay, I need to like start finding new things. When we get stuck in the hustle, we lose point of our why, because you're just in that rat race. I call it the hamster wheel of death. Who hasn't been in that hamster wheel of death? You get up, you eat your breakfast or do your hygiene, get dressed, go to work, do what you need to do at work. You come home, you eat dinner, you pretty much relax, watch Netflix and chill, do whatever, and then you go to bed. And you do that over and over and over again for years. Like, that's the hustle. And then you pray for Fridays to come around so you can go out with your girls. Like, now it's COVID. I don't know if people get to go out anymore. Like, and then you pray for the weekend. And then Sunday's here and you're like, oh my God. Like, and you have to do it all over again. And then you pray for Friday. Like, that's no way to live. You are honestly giving away time because you hate your job that much. Girl, find something else. Find something else. Like, I took a huge pay cut to go to something else that gave me more joy, that honestly gave me more joy, because I was so excited to get up and go to work versus like being paid top money to do what I was doing. Like working 80 hours, like, yeah, achieved top of the line, like all the titles, this, that, and the other thing, made the money, did all this stuff. I was miserable. I thought like once you achieve these levels and you made top notch, like made the money, it was great. Like you're like, you could sit back and relax. No, it came with more responsibilities, more time, more insanity. Like that's not what I wanted to do. That's when I got in my head and I was like, okay, I need to reevaluate myself. Took a pay cut, went to work for a gym. Like left working as a therapist and a counselor in a private agency to run a gym. Awesome. Loved it. Let's see here. Looking at my notes. So when you lose focus on your goals, you lose focus on your values. You need to understand what makes you tick, what makes you happy, what makes you find that love in life. Don't become the passenger in your car of life, become the driver. And it's just something that my dad always says. He's like, are you the passenger or are you the driver? And I said, well, if I'm the passenger, I get car sick like instantly, so I'm driving. So never lose clarity. When you start losing clarity, you're at risk of jumping on board with other ideas of other people. Because who's ever been in a boardroom with others and be like, oh my God, I know how to solve this problem. And everybody's talking around you and they're like, yeah, this is a great idea. Oh my gosh, this is great. And like things are flying past you so fast. You're like, wait. Oh, never mind. Okay, sure, we'll do that. And you had the best idea and you let it go. Like this has happened to me so many times. And I'm like, God, this idea was amazing. And it's like, you talk to somebody after the meeting and I was like, oh yeah, you know what? We really should have did this. And they're like, oh my God, that's like freaking amazing. And then you tell that person goes up to the boss, tells them your idea, then they get credit for it. I was like, what? That was me. So, yeah, learn to be empowered to say what's on your mind and to speak up in situations of that nature. So, remember, it's your goals. That's your power. Never let that go. All right, number 3. This is a hard one for many of us. And this used to be me back in the day, until I learned from one of my coaches, complaining is not a power move. Complaining is not a power move. First of all, people listen to you because they're your friends. And after they're done listening to you, they're like, oh my God, why is she complaining again? Like, I can't handle this. Like, don't be that person. Don't be that person. Complaining is not a problem-solving activity. If you got a problem, figure out a solution. Like, don't go and find people to commiserate with. I remember back in the day, like when I was 20 years old and I was just starting in the working force and just trying to figure out who I am as a person, and I didn't like my boss and she was a bitch and this, that, and the other thing, and I'd be like, meh, meh, meh. And I was like this little chihuahua and I was like, oh, meh, and started complaining and bitching and moaning, and it's like, woe is me, and I didn't like this, and I didn't get a raise, and blah, blah, blah. Like, you find other people to commiserate with. I call it PMS. It's poor me syndrome. Like, poor me, woe is me. Like, you find other people to commiserate with. Like, upper management sees that. They know who you are. And I learned this like firsthand. First of all, I was one of those people that used to be like PMS, what was me? And then when I was upper management, I was like, oh my God, that used to be me. It's so interesting to be on both sides of the story. Like, you learn how to not be that person. So I always say, venting to your friends, your family, your coworker, awesome, I get it. Like, we all need to have that moment. But if you have a problem, talk to them about it, but talk to them about creating a solution. Like, I get it. I'll come home to my husband and I'll be like, my mom did this. How do I solve this problem? And he and I are both very solution-oriented people. Like, you know, when I have a problem, like, I need to find out how to fix it, like, right now. I will stay up and figure out how to fix it, because if you continue to fester over problems, it will eat you alive. I don't know about you, but I could stay up all night. It will make me sick to the point that I will be like Pooposaurus. Like, because my anxiety will get the best of me. I will think of every scenario out there that will never happen because I will eat myself alive. So I will stop thinking about the problem and start thinking about a solution. When we become into this PMS stage, PMS is, as a therapist, we call it the poor me syndrome. It shows lack of control of your mindset, control of your heart, your feelings, your mind, body, and soul. It means that you're easily influenced by others, their ideas and attitudes, that people take advantage of that. They know where your fuse button is, and they'll sit there and they'll be like, and light you up and walk away. And they'll sit back and watch the popcorn because they can. There's people in the world like that, and I've seen this, and it is the most fascinating behavior to watch, but the most the most angry thing to see, that people are like that. And I see that in my family, in my friends, and I was like, how dare you do that? How dare you do that to somebody? Like, how dare you light them up and then walk away? So there I am, like, trying to, like, put out fires because that's my nature, and, like, beat the shit out of the person. Like, stop it. Like, yes, instigators. But going back to number 3, complaining is not a power move. If you feel the need to complain, I get it. We have those moments when we're just like, what the hell? Like, WTF? Like, I get it. Don't complain. Think of a solution to figure it out. That's your power move. Number 4 out of 6, who take responsibility for your actions. Yeah, no one likes to do this. Not fun. Stop blaming other people for what happened. Stop making excuses. That gets old super fast. Like, I know this stuff is very sensitive. I get it. And I talk from my heart because I wrote this because this is shit that I did. I write this because I've done all of this a million times around. Like, there's a point that people were like, I don't want to be your friend anymore because you bitch. You're too fucking annoying. And I'm like, no, like, you don't understand. Like, that person doesn't like me. So I learned very fast about my own behavior when I was young to not be that person. So I needed to take responsibility of my behavior. Yes, there's times in life where you're like, yeah, this is going to make me angry. Yes, I need to follow the rules and expectations of life. Yes, when the speed limit is 20 or, I don't know, 10 in a school zone, you need to follow the rules and expectations. I get it. I get it. But there are times, places, and people that you can talk to about your feelings and your emotions. You can take responsibility for your emotions. But remember, you can't take responsibility for other people's emotions and other people's responsibilities. That is the hardest thing to learn. Let me say that again. You only can take responsibility for you. You can't take responsibilities for other people. I know that seems very basic, but listen to me, girl. Come a little closer. We don't do that. We take responsibility for everybody around us. Our husbands, our friends, our parents' behaviors, everybody. Like the other day, somebody in the supermarket was acting like a jackass, and I was like, oh my God, stop it. like there's no need for that. Like, handle yourself. And then I was like really embarrassed for that person. I don't know why I felt embarrassed for that person. Like, why are you acting like a freaking moron? Like, I was embarrassed in how he was talking to somebody else. And I was like, okay, I can't take responsibility for that person. That's me being an empath. It's the therapist side of me. As being an empath, I need to stop. And then I was like, namaste out of that one. And then I walked away. Take responsibility for your actions. It's up to you how you control your actions, your reactions, regardless of how other people act towards you. And that's very difficult. Absolutely super difficult. Because that's how we know if we can use our coping strategies. Not everybody has the most amazing coping skills. My coping skill when I'm triggered or angry is I will deep breathe. I will sometimes give you the sassy face. I walk away. I walk away. You will hear nothing from me. Silence is golden, because I know if I don't say anything, one, I'm mad. Two, I need to process my feelings. I need to process the whole situation in my brain before I give a calculated response. That's how I use my coping skills. When I start flying out of my mouth, all hell breaks loose. So I have learned as a grown woman to sometimes take a moment, maybe namaste out of that one before I make some comments. So taking responsibility for our actions is very important, and also using those coping skills. I always go like this is your coping skill toolbox, and what kind of tools that we have in that coping skill toolbox is very important. We have learned these as a young child, and a lot of this comes from our parents, our teachers, our priests, ministers, or whoever who has had authority over you. They have taught you how to handle situations. So your coping strategies could be very outdated. That is something that we all have to have, kind of like a iPhone update on our operating systems, on limiting beliefs, our boundaries, and our coping skills. Like, we need the Apple, I'm an Apple person, sorry, like the new Apple iPhone update in our operating system, because a lot of our thoughts and beliefs are very outdated. And we talk a lot about this in my coaching, is like, what are your beliefs? What are the limiting beliefs that were given to you by your parents? Like, I was always given the belief of, well, you need to be married by 30, you need to have the 2.5 children, the picket fence, this, that, and the other thing. Like, you know, the husband pays for everything. Like, okay, George and I don't have kids. We have a dog. We travel the world. I'm an independent boss babe. Like, I pay for this, he pays for that. Like, very different, because I broke that cycle of limiting beliefs. Like, we have our own beliefs as adults, like as a unit, versus my parents' generation. And it's so funny because they always will challenge me, and I'm like, you know, that's not the way we do things. And they're like, well, that's not the way it is, because it's 2022. Like, I updated my operating systems. You should try it. So, I know, I get this, my little sassy side comes out, so I apologize in advance. So, number 5 out of 6 of ways to embrace your empowerment. Stop playing the victim. Stop playing the victim. A lot of these are related because they need to be. When you play the victim, no one likes that. Just no, absolutely don't do it. Because I think many people feel if they play the victim and they do the PMS, poor me syndrome, the woe is me, this, that, and the other thing, that people will give them things that they need. They've learned this as a child. And it's so interesting because my nieces and nephews are young, under the age of 6 or 7. And when they don't get something, they cry. If that doesn't work, they throw a temper tantrum. When that doesn't work, oh, hell breaks loose and like fire, like, and it's so interesting, like playing the victim to get what they want. So we as babies learn that if we are unhappy, we fuss. Totally true. So as adults, we fuss to get what we want. Update that operating system. It's about stop playing the victim. If you're not happy with the situation, girl, you need to, one, what's up with the environment that you're in? What's triggering you? What's causing the problem? Did you not set boundaries? Is it the job that you maybe hate? Or is it the person that you're around? Is it a friend that's making you feel like shit? Absolutely. Remove yourself from the situation. Like, that's me. I'm like, girl, I'm out. Bye. Like, peace out, Girl Scout. That's not for me. Understand where this is coming from. I'm all about triggers, limiting beliefs, understanding your boundaries, because it's all about you. It's all about what makes this work in order for you to be happy in your current lifestyle. If you're not happy in your current lifestyle, something needs to change. Is this not in check? Is this not in check? Like, something is off balance. I always say we need to understand those limiting beliefs because people say, well, you know, I like to play the victim because I get what I want. Yeah, and it's annoying to the people around you. They don't want to be friends with you anymore. They don't want to be around you anymore. They make fun of you. Like, who has friends like that? Who doesn't talk to them anymore? Because I'm like, they are a life suck. They will suck the life from you because you're tired of dealing with their bullshit. You don't want to solve their problems anymore because they don't change. And you know what? I'm not giving out free therapy anymore. Like, setting my boundaries. Say no. You always have a choice. I always say my 2 favorite words are why and no. Why are you doing this? And no. I will say probably no first and say why. That's okay. That's okay. You can say no, and people will be angry. And sure, you know why people are going to be angry because you say no? It's because they've been expecting this free behavior from you for years. It's called setting those boundaries. Once you start saying no, people are like, oh, well, Sally used to write that report all the time at work, so just ask her. And so when Sally says, no, I'm sorry, I really can't do that, they're like, well, why? You used to do it all the time. Well, I'm busy. So I'm sorry, I can't do that. So then all of a sudden now Sally's not writing the report and everybody's like, oh, Sally's being a bitch. No, Sally learned to decide to have some empowerment for herself and be like, oh, hells no, I'm not doing that. Because that's not for me. Because that's your job. Learn to say no. Learn to stick up for yourself. Like, that's where I'm in the background going, yes, Sally, like, woo! As her coach, I'm just like, girl, like, Love it. I love it. I love it when people are like sticking up for themselves. I love it when people are able to be like, I told my boss that I can't do this work. And then they said, why? And I said to them, well, on my schedule, I have an 8:30 meeting, and then I have this, and then I have a phone call, and then I got to write this report, this, and then you show them, and then your boss goes, wow, I really didn't understand like what your schedule was like. No problem. I'm going to delegate that somewhere else. That is one example that I love to give, because that's exactly what I did with my boss when he tried to throw something on me because they didn't want to do it. And I was like, so where would you like me to put this in my schedule? Because if you don't know me, I'm an obsessive planner person. So I like busted out my planner and be like, so in my day, what would you like me to get rid of and not do for you so I can put that in here? And they're like, wow, that's pretty intense. And I'm like, color coded and everything. Welcome to my OCD-ness. And they're like, wow. Boundaries, saying no. So I'm just saying, life is all about choices. You have the choice to say no. You have the choice to be like, this is not going to happen. So stop playing the victim. Don't allow people to overtake you in this situation, because people all around us seek out the weak ones. And my number one example for this is my dog. My dog, she's 13 years old. She's not up here. She's downstairs sleeping. She's a golden doodle, and she's the pride and joy. She's my business partner. She's amazing. Absolutely love her. She will go into a room and she will sniff out the weakest person in the room that will give her treats. And she will like settle in and give her cutest little face to them until they give her food. It's usually my mother. And my mom will dig in her pockets and give her like 4,000 treats, a piece of pizza. Like my dad will give her something, and I'm like, you are weak. She found the weak person in the room. That's like humans. They will find the weak person in the office to manipulate, to make them do their work for them. It happens. It is interesting. It happens in the animal world. It happens in the human world. Until you have enough of power and empowerment to be like, girl, that's not happening. Nope, not today, my friend. Bye, Felicia. You always have a choice. Always have a choice. Number 6, the hardest one out of the whole thing of empowerment is you do not need the approval of other people to be happy. Absolutely do not need the approval. How many of us, and I just learned this term like this month, it's called doom scrolling. You get on your phone and you're just scrolling and scrolling and scrolling, and you go down that rabbit hole and you're just looking at all these pretty houses and the cars and the handbags and everything, and you compare people on the internet to your life. Why don't I have a nicer house? Why don't I have a car like that? Why don't I have a wad of money with a rubber band underneath this gnome, and I should hit the heart button so I can get that $1 million underneath that gnome in the garden? Like, why don't I have things like that? Babe, let me tell you, you do not need to compare yourself to anybody on the internet. You need to compare yourself to the person that you were yesterday. You need to be better than the person you were yesterday. That is who you need to compare yourself to. That's who I compare myself to. Yesterday, did I make progress? Even if it is only 1%. I'm dealing with an insulin resistant issue because I'm trying not to get diabetes. I am working on my health and wellness. Call that emergency team meeting. I am 1% better than I was yesterday because I know that I'm making the right moves in my health and wellness. I know, being a coach, that I'm helping my clients take the next step in their treatment. I know. Because in my heart, I know that I'm better. I journal. Obsessive planner that I am, I look at my planner and be like, yeah, man, yesterday was amazing, and I killed it. And I can see that in my planner. I don't need to journal that. I can see that in my planner that I killed it. I know tomorrow I'm gonna look back and be like, man, I did this live on emPOWERment and there were people on it, and I hope they took one thing away from this and be like, I'm a badass mamma jamma. That's all I care about. If you could take one thing away from this, your self-worth depends on you. It's you. You're the only one. And if I could reach into that phone and be like, I can't tell you how amazing you are, how far you've come, and you're alive today for a reason. Like, I wish that we could sit side by side and pull out your phone and pull up all the pictures. Like, I don't want to see all the nudie ones because who knows what's on your phone. And like, go back to the very first picture and look at how far you come. Look at how far you've come. I mean, on the phone, we always have all the good things because we don't have all the nasty things, but how far you've come in life. I know I've been held back a ton of times. Being born half blind, having doctors tell you you'll never be like the normal kids, you'll never go to school like a normal school, you'll never be able to drive a car, you'll never be able to play sports. Like, I heard never more times than positive things since I've been like 7. Let me tell you, probably the most disheartening thing to ever hear as a kid. My parents were so unbelievably amazing to send me to the best doctors, go to the best eye clinics, vision therapy, the whole thing, to make sure that I had the best life ahead of me. It gave me the opportunity to live my best life being visually impaired. The vision in this eye does not work so well. And the only way to explain it to people is it's like looking at a wax paper, but this eye is like my ninja eye, but I still have to wear a contact. So if I don't have a contact in here, truly cannot see a damn thing. So I grew up literally having a different outlook on life because I knew I wanted to prove adults wrong. And I always had this little chip on my shoulder and be like, people always told me I can't play sports. I grew up to be an All-American volleyball player, travel the world playing sports. They told me I couldn't drive a car. This girl loves hot rods. We own 7 cars. Like, I love cars. I grew up in a hot rod family. I go to car shows with my dad. It's my passion. It's like things that I do with my dad that mean something to me. Like, I never go to school like the normal kids. Sure, school sucked for me until I learned how to learn. Like, I am an audio person. I had to have things on audio. Audiobooks are my best friend. Like, graduated school with a 4.0 in my major. Like, don't tell me you can't do something. You don't need that approval from other people. You don't have to listen to what people tell you. Sure, people are going to give you advice because they love to give people advice. That's what people or humans are meant to do, is give you advice. Take it for what it's worth, face value. People tell me all the time, be like, I think you're a great athlete and a great coach, but you should really coach on mindset, or you should really coach on fitness, and you should really do this. And that's great. But I want to work with women who want to really level up. That's where my passion is. Like, just know, like, who you are, and where you want to go. I always say there's this thing, it's a legit thing, it's called comparisonitis. It's RX, I'll write you a prescription. Comparisonitis. It's when we do go on the internet and we're like, well, I want to have this life. And we become sad, depressed, angry because we don't have these beautiful things like everybody else has on the internet. I honestly look at other women who have the amazing sports cars and go on these awesome vacations, and I was like, yeah, girl, high five. Tell me how you did it. Like, where's that place? Is that in Fiji? Because I'm going to put that on my bucket list because that looks badass. Like, I want to lay on that hammock on this crystal water in this pod in the middle of nowhere. Like, I'm going there. Like, can you tell me that resort? Because that's, girl, I'm on that. Like, that's me. I don't look at it as jealousy. I look at it as, oh, hell yeah. Like, you go there first and tell me how it is. And then tell me what you like and you don't like because I'm going to do it better. Because that's the athlete side of me. Hell yeah, girl. That's always been on my mind, a sisterhood retreat. But you don't need to compare yourselves to others. There is only one you. There is only one life to live that we are given in this human realm. Don't spend it hating what you do. Don't spend it hating other people. Don't spend it hating breathing. Don't spend it hating this virus. I don't want to get all political or anything like that. Don't spend hating this. Figure out a way to be empowered in the situation that you're in. Be the person in your community, in your social group, in your Facebook page, in your family that needs that role model. I always said when I was 7 years old, I'm like, I'm going to grow up to be a role model. You're like, what the fuck does that mean? That's what I always told my dad. I'm like, I'm going to grow up to be a role model. And my dad's like, well, what do they do? I'm like, they inspire people to be amazing. And he's like, all right, like role model it is. And yeah, so I grew up to be a therapist and a counselor and a coach, and I'd pretty much say I'm a role model. But do something in your household, your family, your community to support other people. I always like to be, am I the role model that I want to be for the 7-year-old Jenny? When I was 7 years old, I was struggling with doctors telling me that, you know, I'll never play sports and I'll never. I wish, and I did a lot of shadow work with my therapists and counselors and stuff like that. When I've gone back and mentally rewired that situation, and I've gone back and relived that situation with little Jenny. And I was like, girl, let me tell you what happens at the age of 44. You're going to go up, you're going to go down, life is going to get a little sketchy, like in your 20s, like 26, like, stay away from some boys. Like, they're going to break your heart, it's going to get bad, and stay away from that one guy. That's no bueno. But let me tell you, you're going to learn a lot. You're going to go through some heartbreak. You're going to cry a lot. You're going to laugh a lot. But you're going to explore the world. You're going to do these amazing things. You're going to help amazing women do fantastic things. You're going to still bike. You're going to have new sponsors, and these sponsors are gonna give you all these things to continue to do what you love. And you know what? And I'm still sitting there with 7-year-old me, and I'm like, just do it, babe. Just do it. If you have the idea in here and the dream in here, go for it. And I remember going through this with my therapist and my counselor and doing all this work, and it was rough. Like going back and talking to like 7-year-old you, like, I don't know if you're into this type of work, but it was rough. It was very emotional, but on the other hand, it was like very freeing to go back to that situation and forgive a very negative situation that I've been through. When I was 7 years old, I had a guidance counselor tell me I'm just a stupid athlete and I'll never go to college. And it was a very pivotal moment that when I say a stupid athlete, I was very talented at 7. I was playing sports and this, that, and the other thing. I started playing sports when I was like 6. And yeah, it's very traumatic. As a guidance counselor, she told me that people can't grow up to play sports. And since you're visually impaired, I wouldn't think about going to college. I'm 7. What kind of guidance counselor are you? Telling a young and impressionable person about these things. So it was very traumatic, and I was able to make it through this situation, but I've learned to take people's face value for what it's worth and recreate a situation. It's all about empowerment. It's all about what you want to do, not what others perceive what the picture perfect needs to be. Empowerment is taking your power back. We only have one life to live. Don't wake up each morning hating what you're doing. Think about that. If you hate, like physically hate to the point that makes you sick, that was me. Like, made me like Pooposaurus. We need to reevaluate some things in life. So, in conclusion, empowerment. The 6 power moves, again, are creating and maintaining your healthy boundaries. 2, having clarity on your why and your values. 3, complaining is not a power move, girl. Don't do it. Just don't do it. No one likes a complainer. 4, taking responsibility for your actions, because your actions are the only thing that you can control. Stop playing the victim. Just don't do it, because 1, it gets old real fast and people get annoyed by that, because when I was playing the victim, I was like, oh, people need to pay attention to me. No one cares. It gets old, you're annoying, and it's awful. And like, I just thought I was just bitching to anybody that would listen. No one cares. They really don't. 6, you don't need other people's approval. You don't. If you feel that you need other people's approval, you need to evaluate that situation. You do. Because many times we think we need our parents' approval to do something, to do whatever. It comes down to that limiting belief that you think you need something from your family or whatever. Like, you are your own entity. You are your own being. You are your own responsibility. Always remember that. Thank you so much for coming on today. I wanted this to kind of be like a rah-rah power session. I will go back and read all these comments because they were just flying by, and like, honestly, trying to read them with my one eye, it makes it difficult. If you're looking for more support, love, accountability, check out my coaching offers on my website. It's at www.thecoachjenny.com. Just look around, have fun, sign up for the newsletter. Every Wednesday a newsletter goes out, and it gives like simple health and wellness, mindfulness, and how to live like unapologetically amazing, because that's what we need. We need a little bit more sassy, classy, and a little badassy in our life, because why not, right? So, mwah. Love you all. Have an amazing day. Check out the website if you need anything. I'm always here. Ask your questions, and have an awesome day.